Hey, thanks for watching the Precision Rifle Network. My name's Justin. Today we have a scope from ZeroTech Optics. It's the Trace ADV. It's 4.5 by 27 power, first focal plane. We're gonna look at this scope in depth, and then at the end of the video, I'll go over some things that I like about the scope and a couple of things that I think can be improved upon. But overall, I think this is it's a good scope to put in your options for optics, but let's get into it and check it out. So the first gun I mounted it on is a 300 Win Mag. Just wanted to put it on a gun, get it zeroed. You'll see here the zero stop. This is what it looks like once you remove the caps. This is very easy to use. You simply loosen the screws, turn it over until it stops, and lock it in, screw it back in, and tighten it up, and it's a solid zero stop. Loaded up some more rounds. Once it was zeroed, dialed my dope for 1,000 yards. I wanted just to go ahead and take it straight to 1,000, from 100 to 1,000, and had no problems. I think within 3 or 4 shots, I was on at 1,000 yards, and it was all windage, not elevation. Elevation dialed perfectly. I was able to make this shot at 1,000 yards. So then I put it on my AR, just standard 223. Started taking some shots at some steel at 3, 4, and 500 yards. Scope did well on this platform as well. Didn't have any issues with eye relief. It was easy to get behind, get a clear picture. Here's some trigger cam footage with that AR. So this is a 27 power. You can kind of get a picture for that reticle. It does have pretty fine hash marks on the reticle. They're at 1/2 mil increments. This will be at 14 power. So you can tell as you mag down, that reticle does get a little bit smaller. But for those that like a real fine reticle for precision shots, you may enjoy this reticle format. After that, put it on my PRS setup. This is a 6 GT. Took some shots out at 500 yards, just from a modified prone on top of a bench. And you can see that reticle there, again at 27 power on this one. Easily making hits. This was in the middle of the day, so there was starting to some mirage set in, which you'll see in that camera footage. After that, we took it to a PRS barricade. I put it down on 18 power for this, which seemed to be a good spot for just the PRS style shooting. I liked it around 18 power, was able to see my impacts, but also have a large enough reticle to be able to see it and make good shots. So this is at 18 power. Ran this barricade with I think it's a 12-inch plate at 500 yards. So one of the things I do like about the scope was the scope or the lens covers. I like that design, that they're locked in, they're screwed on, but they also are able to fold back and get out of the way. That's great for hunting and for competition shooting. I really like that design. To remove those scope caps, it comes with a tool. You just simply loosen the little collar on the inside, and you can remove those scope caps or adjust them to the right angle that you prefer. Very, very simple, very neat design. That was one of the things I really enjoyed about this scope, which it seems simple, but sometimes it's the small things. For scope weight, this scope was a little bit heavier, but it felt well built, right around 2 pounds, 2 pounds, 2 ounces. So that's the scope with the rings. That gives you an idea for weight. And the turrets, you can see here the turrets have good audible clicks. They line up to each hash mark as you turn them, which I think is a really good quality of a good scope, is that they line up where they need to line up. And you can see every click is right on that line, and then solid zero stop. Let's talk about a few things that I look for when I'm considering a scope. The first thing is eye relief. I feel like this scope does have a good eye relief. I had no trouble getting behind it and getting that clear picture, none of that black shadows coming around the edges. I was able to get behind the scope and get a clear picture pretty easily. Didn't have to really adjust anything and try to get behind it. You know, some scopes you have to just be in the perfect spot to get a good clear picture. With this scope, didn't have any of that issue, so I believe it has great eye relief. The other thing is glass quality. I believe this glass is up to par with everything else in its price range. Turret tracking is another thing I like to consider. No issues with turret tracking. You can watch other videos on turret tracking where people, you know, move around the turrets and everything and do a lot of testing and had no issues with it. I had no issues with it. Held zero. It zeroed easily. Held zero well. The zero stop, as you saw, is very simple to use, very effective. I like a good zero stop that's not complicated and it's very user friendly. This has that. The other thing is the reticle. Reticles are pretty subjective. I didn't necessarily like the reticle, but like I said, that's subjective to people. Everybody has their preferences on reticles. It works. It does have a little bit bigger, I guess, measurements than what I would probably use, with it being a 1/2 mil each for each hash mark. I like to have at least a 1/4 mil. You know, the reticle is simple. It's not as cluttered. It doesn't have that huge Christmas tree. So, like I said, that is very subjective, so I won't comment a lot on the reticle, but I would like to see possibly some more reticle options. But overall, enjoyed reviewing this scope. I think it's a good scope for the price range that it's at. Seems solid, seems well built. They have a great warranty if you do have any issues. But check them out, give them a look. Hope you enjoyed the video, and thanks for watching. If you haven't, please like and subscribe, and we'll see you again soon.